Coin Collector's World. Today we embark on an extraordinary adventure into the world of hidden treasures, forgotten history, and unbelievable value buried in plain sight. Every day, millions of coins pass through our hands without a second thought. We pay for groceries, we buy snacks, we drop coins into jars, and we move on with life. But among these ordinary pieces of metal, there are rare survivors that carry magic, mystery, and the power to change someone's life in an instant. And one of the most astonishing examples of this hidden magic is the 1967 Washington quarter with no mint mark, a simple 25-cent coin that many people have spent without ever realizing its true worth. To understand why this coin has become such a legend, we must go back in time to the mid-1960s, when America was facing one of its biggest coin shortages. Silver prices were rising, and people were hoarding older coins made of silver. Every time the U.S. Mint released new coins, they seemed to disappear into drawers and jars instead of staying in circulation. The government needed a solution fast. So, in a bold and unprecedented move, the Mint decided to remove all mint marks from coins. This meant that from 1965 to 1967, every coin made in the United States carried no identifying mark whatsoever. Whether the coin was made in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, it looked exactly the same. The decision was designed to stop collectors from hoarding coins based on mint mark differences, and it changed the face of American coinage forever. Among the millions of coins produced during those 3 years, the 1967 Washington quarter stands out as one of the most iconic, not because of its design, which remained the same, but because of what happened to the few rare coins that managed to survive the harsh realities of circulation. Most of these quarters lived extremely rough lives. They were carried in pockets, scraped against keys, dropped on concrete, and fed endlessly into vending machines. By the time decades passed, the majority had worn away their shine and lost their crisp details, but a very small number avoided this fate. Some were placed into coin rolls that were never opened. Some were stashed in bank vaults. Some were saved by collectors without knowing how important they would become. And some simply slipped through the cracks of time, resting in dark corners for years, protected by accident. These rare survivors became the treasures collectors dream about. If you have ever held a perfectly preserved coin in your hand, you know the feeling. There is something magical in the shine, in the sharp edges, in the crisp details that look like they were frozen in time. When a 1967 no-mint mark Washington quarter appears in such pristine condition, collectors instantly recognize its rarity. Washington's profile looks clean and defined, the eagle's feathers stand out clearly, and the entire coin reflects light in a way that seems almost unreal for something more than half a century old. These coins aren't just money, they are artworks of American history, and because the Mint created so many of these quarters, finding one in ordinary condition is easy. But finding one in exceptional, gem-level condition is almost impossible. That gap, millions of ordinary examples versus only a handful of perfect survivors, is what sends the value of this coin skyrocketing. When collectors realize how rare it is to find a flawless 1967 quarter, the competition becomes fierce. Auction houses have witnessed stunning battles among bidders, each fighting to own the finest example they can find, but beyond its rarity, there is something deeply emotional about this coin. It represents a turning point in American coinage. It represents the Mint's fight to save the economy during the coin shortage. It represents the end of an era when coins were made of silver and the beginning of the modern era of clad coinage. Holding a 1967 quarter is like holding a piece of American history, a reminder of how the smallest changes can impact an entire nation. Imagine for a moment someone searching through an old jar of coins left behind by a parent or grandparent. Their fingers sift through copper pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters. Most are dull, worn, and ordinary. But then, among them, one coin glimmers differently. It looks brighter. It looks sharper. It feels untouched. They look at the date, 1967. They flip it over. No mint mark. Their heart begins to race. Could this be one of the extremely rare survivors that collectors are willing to pay enormous prices for? Could this small piece of metal, forgotten for decades, suddenly hold unimaginable value? This moment of discovery, filled with excitement, confusion, and hope, is what keeps the world of coin collecting alive. Every collector knows the feeling of searching through pocket change or old jars, hoping to find that one special piece. And the 1967 no-mint Mark Washington quarter has become one of the greatest modern treasures that people search for, because its value continues to shock the world. Over the years, the highest graded examples of this coin have appeared at major auctions. Specialists have examined them under magnification, admiring the flawless surfaces and razor-sharp details. And when the hammer falls at auction, the final price often leaves spectators in disbelief. What once was a 25-cent coin now stands proudly among some of the most valuable modern coins ever produced. This coin is a reminder that history can hide in plain sight. That ordinary things can become extraordinary. And that sometimes, the greatest treasures are sitting right under our noses. And now, the question that every viewer wants the answer to: what is the maximum value recorded for one of these ultra-rare, perfectly preserved 1967 Washington quarters with no mint mark? What is the number that has stunned collectors around the world and inspired countless treasure hunters to check every quarter they come across? The most perfect known example of this coin has reached the breathtaking value of $85,000.